Across all forms of media, we classify or categorize many different types into subsections called genres. The word genre is defined as a category of artistic composition, as in music or literature, characterized by similarities in form, style, or subject matter. We can also categorize types of media inside types of media, and we call this a subgenre. In music, and in most literature or film, I feel that these labels are warranted, as they usually do a pretty good job at letting you know what the story is going to be about. In gaming, however, I worry that these labels are overused and can lead to restrictions on artistic freedom and integrity. Maybe genre subcategories are overused as a whole, but in this video I'd like to specifically talk about gaming genres. In the modern age of gaming and internet culture as a whole, gaming companies have gravitated towards meeting the needs of a pre-existing group of people who they know will enjoy or engage with a certain product. I know I said this video is going to be about gaming, but to start off, let me give you a quick film example. When the first Iron Man movie was released in 2008, the sole, or at the very least one of their main focuses, was to create a genuinely good film. Over the past 15 years, however, 35 more MCU properties have been released, but only 2 of them have gotten a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Iron Man. The reasons for this are very well documented and agreed upon by most. The superhero genre. Iron Man, Thor, and even the first Avengers movie were all able to genuinely tackle some serious themes of war, friendship, acceptance, responsibility, inheritance, and so much more. As big power-up team-ups like Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man 3, and the first Avengers movie came out, a new genre was formed. Marvel realized they could make movies that anybody could sit down and have a good time with, regardless of age or introspectiveness. Anybody could sit down and get excited because Iron Man was in a Spider-Man movie. But, in Martin Scorsese's words, this wasn't true cinema. These movies weren't being made to tell a story or convey a message to the world. They were made to get as many people as possible glued to their screens, mindlessly watching crossover after crossover. This superhero genre that the MCU has created spread to DC. We got movies like Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, The Suicide Squad, huge, unwarranted crossovers that had no real point or purpose other than to make money. In recent years, this has even spread to other kinds of films and TV in entirely separate franchises. Disney+ified, a term that is used to describe otherwise regular, meaning-filled movies that have been turned into these quippy, MCU-like mindless properties. Star Wars, the X-Men, Transformers, Power Rangers, Free Guy, and The Matrix? Saying it felt like a Marvel movie is somehow used as an extreme insult, even though Marvel Studios is one of the most successful film franchises of all time. Anyways, my overall point is that this can and has actually happened to video games many times in the past. Call of Duty and sports games used to be unique, but now they both just pump out the same generic garbage every year because they know it'll meet their expected sales numbers. I could go on and on about how different movie, book, or film franchises that had a couple genre-starting properties and tried to copy the original formula in the most soulless ways possible, causing other franchises to do the same. What I'm more concerned with, however, is the corporate box that this places on games that do originally have artistic intent, as well as game developers misunderstanding what made these original genre-starting phenomenons so amazing in the first place. This channel has made multiple videos on Dark Souls and the games in the Dark Souls series, so I think we'll talk about the Souls-like genre first. From Software is arguably the best game development company of the last 15 years, and they have pretty much single-handedly created an entirely new and original genre. Wikipedia defines Souls-like as follows: a subgenre of action role-playing games, or action-adventure games, known for high levels of difficulty and emphasis on environmental storytelling, typically in a dark fantasy setting. This definition is quite vague, and it probably isn't what you first thought of when I said the word Souls-like. You might have thought of dodge rolling through attacks, challenging gameplay, the lack of or vague storytelling elements, the build variety, or the magic. Because of Dark Souls' huge success, these traits are usually what Souls-likes try to copy, specifically the dodge rolling mechanic. Games like Mortal Shell, Lords of the Fallen, Animus, Unsouled, and so many more have fallen victim to this trap. I'll come back to this in a minute, as I think it'll help give us an idea of how we can properly utilize these categories. Okay, so roguelikes suck. Okay, maybe roguelikes don't suck, and I may have lied to you in the thumbnail, but in my opinion, they are one of the worst game genres. I personally just don't enjoy the gameplay loop. I feel like my time has been wasted in the same way I'd feel while playing a clicker game. Playing through the same content in a slightly different layout repeatedly until I've done enough runs to upgrade my weapon once and do it another 20 times just angers me and I don't like it. Other people might feel a different way, however, and that's perfectly fine. No matter how amazing the game is, if I have to restart dozens of times to beat the game, then I never give the game anything over a 8 out of 10. I'm fine with some roguelike elements, so some of my friends have suggested that I play roguelites. The problem is that all roguelikes and roguelites always feel like they need to stick to this tight criteria in order to have their label make sense or be justified, if that makes sense. And since the label is what gets them sales, they're going to continue to pump out lower quality games, or games will be better off without roguelike elements. This is how this connects back to the Soul series. From Software has made multiple games within the Soul series that don't necessarily check any of those Soul staples boxes that I listed earlier. Sekiro, for example, my favorite game in the series, one that I even made an hour-long video about, checks literally only one of these boxes. But it's still a game in the series, and it is still seen as one of the Souls games, if not the best Souls game. Sekiro was a huge gamble, but we need to encourage game companies to step outside the box and not worry too much about adhering to the specific genre of the game. We need to encourage them to take more artistic freedom. Nowadays, so many games are being pumped out just to make money, and are not being made to be truly enjoyed or create something truly special. We, the consumers, are partly to blame for this, as we're the ones that continue to buy the games with a fancy Souls-like logo on it, as opposed to fresher, better ideas. Anyways, thank you all for watching to the end. This video was originally supposed to be about roguelikes. Then I made the title, but still wanted to talk about roguelikes, but then I started to write and couldn't help but talk about movie genres. If the video was a mess, I apologize for that, but otherwise, I'd love it if you subscribed or dropped a like or comment if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching!